So for 10.4, the surface area of prisms and cylinders, you guys already did your vocab, so you will recognize some words that we're talking about today. The first ones are prisms. You have one that is a right prism and one that is an oblique prism. Okay? If it is a right prism, you are going to have 90-degree angles. If you have an oblique prism, then it's going to be more slanted. Okay? When you are talking about lateral faces, you are not going to include the bases. So with this, it's a triangular prism. So your bases are the two triangles. And then what's the shape of the faces for that? They're all rectangles. Okay, so that's how you'll know what your bases are. The altitude, that's something that you wrote down yesterday. So the altitude is always going to include the right angle. The altitude will also generally go from the top base to the bottom base. And if it's a circle, it would go from the center to the center. If it is a pyramid, then it goes from the top vertex to the base. Okay, and then this is telling what your perimeter is going to be. So your perimeter would be the A plus the B plus the C, and then this one would be your height. Okay, that's your net. Okay, now, if you have a rounded surface, then these are called the lateral surfaces, not the lateral faces. Okay, because they don't have the faces. The faces are going to be polygons, and those are not. So again, you have the two bases. You have your altitude from your base to your base. And then if you have an oblique cylinder, okay, that's going to be slanted. Okay, your height would still go from your base to your base. All right, and then we're going to go to page 2. So page 2 gives you an information box about the lateral area and the surface area of the right prism. Okay, so these are going to be some important formulas with what we're calculating today. So we're going to highlight a few things and then define a few of those variables that are going to be new to you. Did you guys find the lateral area, the surface area in your 8th grade Algebra 1 class? The surface area? Okay. Because I know they are doing more geometry there. All right, so the first one, this is the lateral area and the surface area of right prisms. So the lateral area is just the area around, that's just the faces. The surface area is the lateral area, but it includes the area of your two bases as well. So the lateral area of a right prism with a base perimeter P and a height H is given by L equals PH. Okay, so whenever you have the P, that is the perimeter of the base. Okay, and even if there are two bases, it's just the perimeter of one of those bases. Okay, and sometimes you'll see me write LA for lateral area equals P times H. Okay, the surface area, oops, I wanted to highlight this too. So this was the lateral area of a right prism. Then we also have the surface area of a right prism. is going to be given by these two equations. Okay, so either the surface area equals the lateral area plus 2 times the base, or you can substitute P times H plus the 2B. So in this one, your L is going to be the lateral area, and the B is going to be the area of the base. So the capital B means area of the base. Okay, so again, another way you might see me write that is I'll say the surface area equals the lateral area plus 2 times the base. So remember I told you how the surface area is the lateral area? All you're doing is adding those two together, is the bases. That's why it's 2 times the area of the base, because how many bases are you going to have in a right prism? 2. Okay? And then this equation, instead of saying lateral area, the lateral area is P times H. So that's why you can just substitute that in. And then the last one is the surface area of a cube. And the cube is special because the edge lengths are all the same. Okay, so if it is a cube, you can just do 6 times s squared. Can you guys think about where that comes from? Yep, there's 6 sides of a cube, and the area of every single side is what? S squared. Yeah. Yep, so for one side, right, it's s times s, which is s squared. And then because there's 6 sides to a cube, 6 times s squared is where that comes from. All right, so then for example 1, we're going to find the lateral area and the surface area of each right prism. And then if we need to, we're going to round to the nearest tenth. So the lateral area and the surface area. And then we have the rectangular prism that is shown. Okay, so the first thing to find the lateral area, we have to find the perimeter and then the height. So the P is the perimeter of the base. Okay, and the perimeter of the base is going to be the perimeter of this bottom rectangle. Okay, so this is going to be your base. Now, if it's a rectangle, right, if this side is 7, what do I know this side is? 7. And if this side is 9, this side is 9. So the perimeter for the base is 9 plus 9 plus 7 plus 7. And then we're going to multiply that by the height. So the height is going to go from one base to the other. And your height is going to be 14 feet. Okay, so 9 plus 9 is like 9 times 2, or 18, right? 18 plus 14, which is going to be 32. Okay, so when you multiply that together, what do you get? Good, 448. And then let's put our units on here. So for this one, we can see the units are feet. If it's the lateral area, do I have to add anything else to the feet? Squared. Good. Okay, and then for the surface area, the surface area is going to be the lateral area plus 2 times b. Okay, and then remember that means area of the base. So we already have our lateral area from what we just did. That will be 448. And then to find the area of the base, since it's a rectangle, how am I going to do that? Yeah, you're just going to multiply, right? So that's just going to be 63 from 9 times 7. Right? So your base is going to be, for this one, length times your width. So 9 times 7. If this was a triangle, what equation would I have to use to find the area? Yes. So 1/2 times base times height. Yep, 126. And then when you add those two together, what do you get? 500 and, yep. And then that'll be feet squared as well. Okay, so anytime you have the area, okay, then you would have your feet squared. Okay, so again, your lateral area is the area of all of what? Yeah, so your faces. Okay, so that's going to be the area of these 4 rectangles. Okay, the surface area is the area of the faces plus the area of what? The bases. Okay, so we're just going to make a little note. So your lateral area is the area of the faces. The surface area is the area of the faces plus the area of the bases. All right, and then let's flip it to our next page. Okay, so we have the lateral area and the surface area of right cylinders. Okay, so the lateral area of a right cylinder with a radius of r and a height of h is given by the following. Okay, so the lateral area is going to equal 2 pi times r times h. Do you see another familiar formula in that equation? What part of the circle? The circumference, right? So 2 pi r is the circumference, which is the distance around the circle. So we can just compare that to the perimeter. It's the perimeter of the circle multiplied by the height. Okay? So that is where it comes from. That's why it's telling you here the 2 pi r. That's your circumference, which is the perimeter of your circle. And then the surface area of a right cylinder is going to be either one of these two. They're both the same thing. Okay, so the surface area is always the lateral area plus 2 times the base. This just has it catered specifically to the surface area for a cylinder. So again, in this one, you can see the pi r squared. Remember that pi r squared is the area of a circle. Okay, so the area of a circle is pi r squared. So that's where this is coming from. It's 2 times the area of the base, and then this is your lateral area. Okay, so this is your lateral area. This is 2 times your area of the base. All right, so then for example 2, we are going to find the lateral area and surface area. And for this one, you are finding the lateral area and surface area of the following cylinder. And this says leave your answers in terms of pi. Okay, so to find your lateral area is the perimeter times h, which is 2 pi r times h. Okay, Jared, what's going to be your radius for this one?
8.
Good. How'd you calculate that?
16 pi by 2.
Okay, good. So they give you the diameter, right? You have to calculate what the radius is. The height of this, Matthew, what's the height of this going to be?
10.
10. Okay, so I'm just organizing the information that they gave me in the picture so that when I get to my equation, I can now plug that in. Okay, now when you're multiplying, I would do 8 times 10 first because that's going to be what? 80. So then when you multiply by 2, 80 plus 80 is 160. So it's 160 pi. And then our units are going to be inches squared. Okay, and then we're going to do the surface area. So remember, the surface area is the lateral area plus 2 times the area of the base. So we already have our lateral area is 160 pi. So our area of the base, since it's a circle, it's pi r squared. And since I know that my r is 8, I'm going to have 2 pi 8 squared. So you have to do your order of operations. So if you square 8 first, what do you get? 64, and then you're multiplying that by 2, right? So 60 and 60 is what? 120. 4 and 4 is 8, so it would be 128 pi. Now because they both have pi, you can just add the coefficients. Okay, so if you add 160 and 128, what do you get? 288. So this is going to be 288 pi and then inches squared for your surface area. All right, so your homework from 10.4 is numbers 1 through 6, 13, 16, and 17, and you are going to do that when you are done with your quiz, or if your quiz takes you the entire time, then you will do that for homework.